Welcome to What's the Stack? I'm Emily Conaghan.
And I'm Carly Shearman.
Every day as tech recruiters, we ask the question, what's the stack? So we thought, why not bring that question to life with some of our favourite tech friends in the industry and ask them what their stack is over a stack of pancake in Brisbane's iconic church turned 24/7 pancake restaurant, the Pancake Manor.
Today we're meeting with Jackie Hardy, who is a Senior Engineering Manager at Clipchamp, one of Brisbane's most recent success stories. Clipchamp was recently acquired by Microsoft, which is huge news for the industry, and no amount of research can tell us how much it was purchased for, but with all the research that we've done, with a Series A funding of $13.2 million, we can only assume it's big bucks. So, 6 months on from that acquisition, we want to find out more about that move from Microsoft. So what happens to Jackie as an engineering leader when one of the biggest tech companies in the world acquires your business? How does that influence your stack?
Absolutely. So let's go inside and meet Jackie.
Let's go.
To kick us off today, what is the stack in front of you?
This is the Bananarama. It looks pretty amazing, I have to say.
I've actually never had the Bananarama before, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, same here.
And what is your tech stack?
So we use TypeScript with React, which is fantastic. So that's what I work in the most. And we have Python backend. So yeah, we've got a few changes coming in after the Microsoft acquisition though. So,
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Quite often on What's the Stack, we've seen people who have quite squiggly careers where they've had career pivots or something else has happened that has made them change direction in terms of their career. Can you take us through a bit of a journey of how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so I had an interesting start, I suppose. It was very much just a hobby for me. I found websites back in the old Neopets days. So you used to get a pet page and you could do whatever you wanted to it. And I used to just muck around with that and got into GeoCities, and this is before front-end development was even called that. It was kind of just mucking around. And yeah, managed to make that into a career, which was really cool.
In your resume, you have some kind of iconic Brisbane names. So YouFood, Expedia, For the Record, and obviously now Clipchamp as well, which is huge. So what's been the most formative kind of spot for your career?
I think probably YouFoods.
Yeah.
The reason being because I had an extremely supportive manager, and it was my first proper try at management. So he kind of just let me do what felt right and supported me along the way. Like, we had really great leadership training, that kind of thing.
Clipchamp, a Brisbane success story. It's just gone crazy over the last 12 months. So Clipchamp recently were acquired by Microsoft. And obviously with that sort of acquisition comes a huge amount of change. So I'd love to hear from your sort of insider perspective of going through that period of change. What did that acquisition teach you about change management and how to, I guess, guide and lead a team through something that's, crazy?
It has been big, yeah. I think we're still going through it, honestly. It doesn't feel like the dust has really settled yet. The biggest things I've learned are change is inevitable. It's not always a bad thing though. Like, it can be quite exciting, but the things that do feel really churny for people, just try and take it slowly. You don't have to jump on everything at once because it really does feel like a fire hose. I think that's how it got described to us when we had our Microsoft day and they're like, get ready for the fire hose of information.
Yeah.
It really did feel like that. So I think just stepping back, learning what's important, what's not so important, because you're going to have a lot of people talking at you all of a sudden. That's been really important for us. And as I said, we're still going through the process, still haven't figured it out entirely, but it is exciting.
Yeah.
Can you give us, I guess, the elevator pitch of Clipchamp and why Clipchamp? Why is it a great place to work?
Our goal is to empower anyone to tell stories worth sharing. And the actual product itself is really interesting to work on. So I work on the editor team and the monetization team. The actual dev work I do is usually in the editor space. So that's like actually editing video clips, that sort of stuff. And there are just some really interesting, challenging problems to solve, especially when you think about we're trying to make a video editor in a browser, which is crazy. Like, how did people even come up with this?
And look, I know we've kind of touched on the acquisition. I just think Microsoft kind of coming in and buying a company is huge for the Brisbane tech scene. Has there been any implications or changes to your tech stack as a result?
We have had to move some things.
Yeah.
Microsoft is very keen to keep up with compliance, I suppose. So compliance is a big thing at this point, and there's a lot we've had to do to catch up. Accessibility is something that I've never really had a great deal to do with in the past, but it's just such a big focus, and so I've done quite a bit in that space now since the acquisition.
Yeah.
It's probably not a change to the tech stack so much, but it has been a big change in how we work, and it's been a lot of catch-up work. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So you've had, I guess, quite a bit of experience now in that sort of people management space, managing both teams onshore and offshore. What have been your learnings from a people management perspective with managing distributed teams? And if you were going to, I guess, start your own tech company tomorrow and build a team, what would you do from an onshoring, offshoring perspective in building your team?
I think if I were to build a team, I don't mind where they work, really. They can be remote. I think the tech industry has definitely gone that way.
Yeah.
I think as long as everyone just communicates well and they know what they're meant to be doing, it doesn't matter when you do it. It's just you're committed to the team, you're getting your stuff done, and then the rest of it can work for you. So if that means that they're not in Brisbane, that's fine.
Going back a little bit, like I know we've been kind of focusing on your career now, but you started a bachelor in IT. How has the tech industry kind of changed since you first started studying to now?
I actually didn't finish my degree. So I had 3 subjects left, and by then I'd already started a business with my sister and just found more value in actually getting into the industry and starting work. And then I found that I just didn't actually need a degree to get where I wanted to go. And it hasn't held me back yet, so...
Yeah, look at you now.
Yeah.
It's so rare that I even look at a engineer's qualifications beyond, like, obviously if they're a grad, you look at it, but once they're in industry and they have some runs on the board and they've built a cool product, that's the stuff you're really interested in?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm way more interested in someone's actual experience and the stuff they've built.
Absolutely. And I guess, what advice would you have for a graduate or kind of someone in the middle of their career as a software engineer? They're not quite sure if they want to be an individual contributor, they're not quite sure if they want to go into leadership, they just know they want to work for amazing companies like you have. What advice would you have for them?
I would say follow your heart, give everything a go, and just see what feels interesting, because you'll do well if you do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of like looking forward, what's happening in industry, what's an emerging trend that you're really excited about right now?
I would have to say the remote work piece.
Yeah.
And the fact that companies are really okay with people just doing what works for them a little bit better. And it obviously has its challenges, like, you know, it's hard to build a team culture when people aren't in an office and actually seeing each other every day. But on the other hand, it's just so good to be able to do that, to have a little bit of flexibility and your work doesn't just take over your life.
What is your favourite nostalgic kids TV show?
Oh, Alex Mack.
Sweet or savoury?
I would say both, but if I had to choose, savoury probably.
What's your biggest office pet peeve?
Ooh, probably noise. Noise gets me, yeah. That's why it's nice working remotely.
Do you have any irrational fears?
I mean, spiders are probably the big one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's irrational though.
I think that's pretty rational. Feels rational. What reality TV show would you go on if you had to go on one?
The Block, absolutely. Yeah, hands down.
Well, you're renovating, or you finished renovating?
We're renovating.
Yeah.
Still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to wrap us up for our final question, what do you love about having a career in tech?
I think you can do it anywhere. You can be super creative. You can help people in a really easy way. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming on What's the Stack. It's been so nice to have you on, Jackie.
yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great.